wearing my scarf from outside. To episode 13 of season 4 of The Paper Thing with me, the Broken Bottle Boy, here on Twitch. Today's show is a 4-paper extravaganza featuring The Guardian, The Times, The Daily Mail, and The Sun. It is also The Guardian's 200th birthday, hence the cover wrap that is currently featured in, the Space of Shame, since the Frame of Shame was got rid of at the end of season 3 because it was annoying me. Thank you for joining me, those who have joined me, and if you're watching this on YouTube, enjoy. I mention comments and stuff from people who are watching, so if you want to watch live ever, go to twitch.tv/BrokenBottleBoy and and subscribe there so that you get alerts when I'm on. Or just follow me on Twitter @BrokenBottleBoy. I tweet every day when this is on. It's on every weekday at 1 p.m. or thereabouts. And this is what we do. We review the papers here. As I say, a 4-paper day, so it's a busy day, and I will be getting started with The Guardian in a second. Just got to chuck on to the the Discord that the show is going. I will share the link to the Discord in the chat later. Here, the show is live. Bam. Bing pot. Yes, send now. Boop. Cool. Alright, so, starting with The Guardian. Is anyone in the chat yet? Hello to another TT viewer, Carbot14XYZ, and Discord for streamers. Always first in the chat. Hey, Bingpot. Hi, Dan Jones, 3142. How are you doing? Yes, I struggle with Brooklyn Nine-Nine now because it is propaganda. Clearly is propaganda, but I also really, really like the characters. Okay, so we're going to start with The Guardian. That is the wrap that is on The Guardian today, 200th anniversary souvenir edition, showing headlines from 1921, 1952, 1959, 1969, 1988, and 12th of September 2005, showing the way that the masthead has changed over the years. But this is not the actual front page, it is merely what we call a wrap. So it advertises a free pull-out copy of the very first edition. We'll be taking a look at that, comparing that to what a modern paper is like. And a very long article by Kath Viner on 200 years of The Guardian. She's, of course, the editor of The Guardian. And a cartoon from Posey Simmons marking the day. So let's switch to the actual front page of The Guardian so we can start deconstructing this for the day. Hey, Studying Fangirl, good to see you. How are you doing today? What is occurring? Okay, here is the very annoying. Hold on. Transform, rotate counterclockwise, make it larger, enhance. There we go. That'll do it. Right, so this is The Guardian for 5th of May 2021. Hey SK, how are you doing? Good to see you. We're just about to dissect the 200th anniversary edition of The Guardian. So, aside from the wrap that we just showed, this is the main front page. Top of the shop, The Mousetrap. Will the world's longest running play save the West End? Yeah, maybe, dunno. Oh, just got your beard trimmed. The new SK's dropped. Also in top of the shop, a plug or a promo for Julian Borgia, who has a feature in the paper today in the G2, the advert that saved my family from the Nazis. Big stories on the front page. Labour alarm as party data points to collapse in support. No shit. I mean, it's hardly a breaking news, is it? I think we all knew that Labour were going to have a tough time in Hartlepool when they picked the Saudi MILF monitor, Saudi fan and MILF monitor to be their candidate. Hello, Mr. Gump. Good to see you. Hi, Yuan. Good to see you. Greetings on this day, 200th birthday of The Guardian, but also the more auspicious news that SK's new beard has dropped. SK the Crusader, Milfy Paul McSaudi, as the Ian Duncan Smiths called him. Yeah, bang on. Elsewhere on that page, France may cut power to Jersey in row over fish. One minister said this in questions in the National Assembly. Annick Girardin, the Minister for Maritime Affairs, said she's been revolted by the UK government's behaviour over its waters and France was ready to retaliate. She noted that Jersey is reliant on transmission of electricity by underwater cable. One of those nice electric cable, shame if anything were to happen to it. Good to see melting Keith faces in the chat. Anyway, I don't think France is going to cut the electric power cable. And I also think that it's typically xenophobic and weird that Matt Chorley on his Times Radio show dedicated his phone-in topic to stuff we could do to retaliate against the French. And one of his guests went, of course, the French are our oldest enemy. And it's like, oh, and what she said was, she then went on and said, oh yeah, well, you know, we did fight with Germany a couple of times, but yeah, those couple of times were a pretty big deal. And the other story on the front page, court told police officer murdered ex-footballer. This story, this case is fucking disgusting. Of course, Benjamin Monk, who is on trial at the moment, is innocent until proven guilty, and everything here is an allegation. But it is alleged that he shot Dalian Atkinson with a taser stun gun for 33 seconds, then kicked him in the head as though striking a football, causing his head to snap back violently. It is also alleged, and he is charged with manslaughter, that that Atkinson was on the ground and apparently unresponsive when the officer kicked him in the head twice with such force that the imprint of his laces were left on Atkinson's forehead. It said one witness told the trial the police just started kicking the shit out of him. The jury were told blood from Atkinson was found on Monk's boots, and after he was heard to tell a paramedic, he may be a bit bloody as I've had to kick him. This case is disgusting. It was, the former footballer had smashed a pane of glass and was heard to shout that he was the Messiah and could not be hurt. The jury heard Monk fired the stun gun a third time, which felled Atkinson in the street outside his father's home. So there you go. Inside The Guardian, G7 rushes to boost vaccine supply to poorer countries. Does it though? On page 3, which is very much not page 3-ish in The Guardian, divorce from Bill could make Melinda Gates the world's second richest woman. I always find this stuff really weird because obviously she's played a huge role in him being able to be this massive business success. That and his monopolistic practices during the 90s as leader of Microsoft. But it's not like she wasn't involved in this. I hate it. It's the same thing when Bezos and his wife divorced. It's this sense that they have no role in these men making all this money. To be honest, them having this money, of course, is disgusting. And the Gates' charity is very dubious in the extreme. Mr. Gump replying to SK, MILFs are a metropolitan liberal fad. Good afternoon, Slinker Meyer, and also to Tara Wrights. Good to see you both. On page 4, Labour in huge trouble in Hartlepool by-election ground campaign says. Keith was quoted as saying, we lost very badly in December 2019 and my job is to rebuild trust and confidence with Labour. But did you lose in Hartlepool? No, you fucking didn't. Charity is a handy way to quickly launder your identity. Agreed. Yeah, I also cannot wait for SK's Saturday election stream. Make sure you tune in for that. Jessica Elgar, the deputy political editor of The Guardian, says Red Shift will hinge on appeal to disenchanted Southerners. Right. And then talking about the inevitable Labour win in London. But the thing is, the London mayoralty and the rest of the country have very little bearing on each other. John Crace, one of the least funny men in British political journalism, and that includes Chucklesome Matt Chorley, writes, Starmer's Hartlepool problem. Every time he shows his face there, the party's ratings slide. Could it be that Keith isn't popular? Yeah. Did I see James Ball's BS today? I did, yes. Wales' First Minister finds sense of hope on the doorstep. right. More details on the story about the murder, alleged murder of Dalian Atkinson. Police officer tasered former footballer, then kicked him in the head. Trial told. So disgusting. Keith very much labours Theresa May without the popularity May enjoyed. That's a perfect analogy. Guybrush Threepgood's birthday is on Friday, so I'm accepting the crashing and burning of the Labour Party as a present. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Peter Walker, the political correspondent, writes, new fast-track visa rules will open door to Nobel and Brit Award winners. Fuck off. Mental health. Fishing prescribed for NHS patients in Manchester. A group of NHS patients have become some of the first in the country to be recommended fishing to improve their mental health. This country's mental health system is so fucked. Terror Rights agreed that killing was absolutely awful. The guy was he was clearly going through a serious mental health trauma, and he was killed. There was no reason for that to happen. It should be, I don't know. It's just disgusting. On pages 10 and 11, we got fall in death and rates of infection encouraging, says top epidemiologist. That's Professor Neil Ferguson. As you will find when we get to the Sun, they refer to him still as Prof Lockdown. Guybrush Threepgood, we could have had a national mental health service. Yeah, but communism, right? Broad bad communism. Nothing sensible in that manifesto. Fucking hell. Yeah, how about fucking funding mental health services? Agree with you, Slinkermeyer. Elsewhere on these pages, travel, number 10, revises advice on foreign holidays. Like a horror film, doctors in UK raise funds for India amid fears for families' safety. That's why I just think we need to... The Daily Mail and others going mad and saying, oh, we should get rid of all restrictions now. It's insane. We still run huge risk from variants. Care homes. Residents upbeat as eased rules allow day trips. Well, that's good. Odeon Cinemas will reopen most of its cinemas on the 17th of May. Right, now on to Kath Viner's very long article on the 200th anniversary of The Guardian, and this is fucking laughable. Good afternoon to you, Ged Station. She writes, for then, for now, and for the future. Times change, but our principles don't. It's 200 years, and we've only just begun. The thing to remember about The Guardian is that though The Guardian is seen as quite a left paper, The Guardian was which it's not, it's a centrist paper, and read today's newsletter for my... I wrote in today's newsletter about this, and it is probably the best way I can sum up my view of what The Guardian is. Bear with me, callers, while I pull up the paragraph, because I want to remember to accurately quote myself from 5:30 a.m. this morning. Right, so the execrable Ed West wrote in Unheard that The Guardian, founded by the Unitarian Manchester businessman, represented a non-conformist tradition that evolved into left liberalism, always activated by a keen sense of social justice. My take is, Guardian's seen as a paper of the left only by those who have remodelled the Overton window far off to the right. In reality, it's the paper of the technocrat centre, the paper of just a little bit of change, but nothing that would interfere with our favourite coffee shop's liberalism. Its social justice passions never stretch to questioning the actual structure of the system. What you have to remember about The Guardian is that The Guardian was founded by a businessman and a group of non-conformist businessmen who were disdainful of the earlier Manchester Observer, which was a much more radical paper that was shut down by the police following its advocacy on behalf of the Peterloo Massacre protesters. So even at its very beginning, The Guardian was saying, not as radical, don't be that too radical. Hey, Ged Station. Conrad Wolfie, The Guardian's the most revolutionary publication. If you don't agree with this, you don't understand Marxism. Twitch is fucked. Oh, okay, right. Oh, Twitch went weird, did it? Okay, well, okay, I'm glad you're back anyway. So anyway, I don't know what you missed, but... it's a very long thing, and she writes, we must always be a part of the community we represent, and remember that community is now a global one. Journalists writing about how brilliant they are is one of the worst things about British journalism, and there's so many bad things about British journalism. Leading newspaper editors and publishers from around the world have paid tribute to The Guardian, saluting its independence, influence, and investigative courage. I mean, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Hey, Industrial Pet, good to see you. And then they reprint the 1921 essay from C.P. Scott that he wrote on the 100th anniversary of the paper. He wrote, "A newspaper is of necessity something of a monopoly, and its first duty is to shun the temptations of monopoly. Its primary office is the gathering of news." Does anyone really think The Guardian achieves that on a day-to-day basis? Tomorrow, in their celebration, Alan Rusbridger on how The Guardian went digital and global, and Maya Wolfe-Robinson on coverage of race through the ages. Right, moving on out of that, we will be coming to the replica of the first edition. That's a little layer around here. Yeah, Guybrush Threepwood, I can't stand the fart huffing from journalists either. I mean, other industries do it, but journalists really do it. And it's like when we congratulate each other on new jobs or say, "Oh, you were so fantastic," when they get shit canned. Right, page 23. Ex-soldiers accused of murdering official IRA member walk free as trial collapses. Guardian differs from some of the other papers by calling him a member of the Provisional IRA's Marxist rival, the official IRA, which is more accurate than other papers that call him a commander. He was no such thing. He was quite young. This was an absolute fucking mess. And it was always likely that they were going to get acquitted because the statements that the case were predicated on were not taken under caution. Anything about trans rights and their liberal apologia? No. Terry writes, global community stuff's always a cipher for imperialism because they're not talking about solidarity, which would involve actually material changes to help liberate the global south, for instance. Totally agreed. Dad Vader, there's an auction of stuff owned by Dave Prowse. It includes a Darth Vader helmet, which sold for 5 times the estimate, and a signed picture of Alec Guinness in his Obi-Wan Kenobi robes, which is snapped up for travel, what was anticipated. Someone also paid £9,000 for a prototype lightsaber, the weapon of choice of the Jedis. Hundreds of items hoarded and collected by Dave Prowse, the Bristolian who played the physical Vader in the Star Wars trilogy, sold off in his home city following the Axe's death, age 85 last year. Sale took place on May the 4th, a nod to the May the Force be with you slogan, with a percentage of proceeds going to Alzheimer's research. Prowse died following a short illness, having lived with Alzheimer's disease for around a decade. It may be no surprise that hardware, the helmets and weapons went for so much. There was clearly huge fascination in autographed pictures. An image of Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, went for £15,000. Yeah, but the reason is, these are autographs to Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader. That's why they went for so much. Jesus. Guybrush tweet good. Everyone knows it, but the time Mark got slapped back down for a self-aggrandized view of his profession by Noam Chomsky, still beautiful. Yeah, I quote it as often as possible. Comrade Wolf, the UK government ensuring soldiers get away with war crimes. Well, I never. Yeah, who is surprised? The Guardian, sort of sticking to what it used to always do by hiding royal stories quite deep in the paper, puts its story about Meghan Markle, aka Duchess of Sussex's new children's book on page 23 and writes, Meghan writes children's book inspired by Harry and Son. Now, look forward to some truly insane coverage of that from both The Sun and The Mail coming up later in the show. Dental analysis of the Mary Rose cruise shed further light on Tudor society. One is thought to have been an archer raised in the Atlas Mountains of North Africa, while another may have been a carpenter who grew up in southwest Spain. Others hailed from closer to home, possibly the bustling ports of the English West Country or the Thames Estuary. The most in-depth study yet of the group of men who drowned from Henry VIII's favourite warship, the Mary Rose, sank off Portsmouth, has provided fresh insight into the makeup of the crew and the diverse nature of society in Tudor England. Expect the Tories and the Conservatives to go mental about this. Oh yes, rewriting history, whatever. Guybrush tweeted, I remember something about Alec Guinness fucking hating his time filming Star Wars. Yeah, he pretty much did. Yeah, Meghan plagiarizing the concept of benches. In the journal section, which is their comment section, there's a new generation walking the West Wing, says Joel Wertheimer. Yeah. Yeah, so Raphael Bear, Schumann writes, the same old Tories, Labour won't win over voters with that. Keir Starmer, as he writes it, is trying to ignite flames of public indignation by blowing on embers that are 25 years old. No, this government's fucked. It's just that he seems as establishment as this government. So they just think, well, we'll go for the establishment guys who are promising us loads of money. Good morning, Grilling Pirate Pete. Rib day in the Cove. Ribs already on the smoker for a slow all-day smoke. That sounds delicious. Mary Rose with truly internationalist endeavour, says Comrade Wolfie. Guybrush Tweaker, can't believe those damn SJWs have gone back in time. Right. Elizabeth Ribbons, the Open Door editor, says Prince Philip striking the right balance. How much is the right amount of coverage for the death of a royal consort? On 10th of April, day after Prince Philip died, the Guardian newspaper's front page carried a black and white portrait of the Duke, followed by 12 more pages of news, including a 4-page obituary, one comment piece, and a leader article. It was only national paper, rather than the Financial Times, not to offer a special supplement alongside the main coverage. But for some reasons, readers, it was still too much. Between the reader's editor's office and the letter's desk, we received about 100 complaints. One reader among many saying they expected different from a Republican-leading or radical newspaper. But The Guardian isn't that. How can you rationalise such overkill that smacks of the sort of media coverage in an authoritarian country when the head of state dies? It's because we are in one. Another told us, I felt your coverage of the recent death of Prince Philip was totally disproportionate, especially in the context of the number of lives lost through the pandemic. Basically, she finds ways to excuse it and say, oh, our coverage was very frank. Arwa Madawi says, help, I'm in the clutches of the baby industrial complex, and why politics belongs in the workplace. Yeah, fine. There's a feature on how fashion this year is inspired by Cruella de Vil's look. There's Julian Borger writing about his father escaping the Nazis with the help of an advert in The Guardian, like dozens of other Austrian Jewish children. He tells their story. On Wednesday, 3rd August 1938, a short advertisement appeared on the second page of the Manchester Guardian under the title Tuition. It said, I seek a kind person who will educate my intelligent boy, age 11, Viennese of good family, the advert said under the name Borger, giving the address of an apartment in Hinterstrasse in Vienna's 3rd district. The small ad, costing a shilling a line, was placed by my grandparents, Leo and Erna. The 11-year-old boy was my father, Robert. It turned out to be the key to their survival and the reason I am here nearly 83 years later, working at the newspaper that ran the ad. In 1938, Jewish families under Nazi rule were scrambling to get their children out of the Reich. Newspaper advertisements were one avenue of escape. Scores of children were advertised in the pages of the Manchester Guardian, their virtues and skills extolled in brief to fit the space. The columns read as a clamour of urgent competing voices, all pleading, take my child. And people did. The classified ads, dense, often mundane notices that filled the front pages and coffers of the Guardian for more than 100 years, also helped save lives. Richard Nelson, the Guardian's information manager and archivist, emailed me a picture of the ad in January. Its existence had been subject to family myth, but I'd never seen it before. Its emotive impact took me by surprise. 3 lines of anguish from parents willing to give up their only child in the hope he would be safe. The Nazi annexation of Austria, the Anschluss, had taken place 5 months before my father's ad was placed, while the Nuremberg race laws had been imposed in May, stripping Jews of basic rights. Groups of Nazi Sturmabteilung, the brown-shirted SA, had free reign in Vienna to beat and humiliate Jews. My father was identified as Jew by his classmates and at one point was grabbed by an SA gang who locked him inside the local synagogue. My grandfather Leo, who owned a radio and musical instrument shop, was summoned by Gestapo to register. He was ordered, like other Viennese Jews, to get down on his hands and knees and wash the pavement in front of jeering crowds. Similar appeals to the ads in The Guardian were placed in the Times and Telegraph, but the Manchester Guardian was seen as more sympathetic by those seeking to flee. The city was home to the biggest UK Jewish community outside London. It had ties to Vienna through the textile trade, as well as an energetic Quaker community that set up a refugee committee after Kristallnacht, which helped resettle large numbers of Central European Jews. The Guardian also focused more than the rest of the British press on the plight of Jews under Nazi rule and hardship of those in the UK. Yes, at this time, The Guardian was doing this, while the Daily Mail was saying that Jewish refugees were a problem that should be stopped. Slinker Meyer, holy shit, Prince Philip's dead. When did that happen? Comrade Wolfie, the Baby Industrial Complex. Lockheed Martin firing toddlers into an Afghan wedding from a drone. Grilling Pirate Pete, when the Queen Mum died, wasn't there an uproar of not enough coverage, so the BBC panicked and went overboard of their coverage of Prince Philip? Yeah, the whole press pretty much did, although the tabloids were always going to. Right, in the obituaries, Albert Elbaz, designer who restored the fortunes of the French fashion house Lanvin, is covered. He was covered earlier by some of the other papers. This happens a lot sometimes in the obituaries. You'll find that because different papers put a different level of importance on various figures, the time that their obits come out can differ quite a lot too. Yeah, and in the sport, IPL suspended, leaving players with a battle to get home. IPL suspended, leaving players with a battle to get home. And next up, Istanbul, ice cool City seal final place as PSG lose heads. Man City 2, PSG 0. Right, so that was The Guardian for today. Let's give our scores for that. However, The Guardian today comes with a miniature version of the first Manchester Guardian, and we will just take a quick look at that. Yes, the Guardian's information manager on loan from GCHQ, allegedly. Rotate. Oh, hang on. I've gone the wrong way. Transform. And transform again. El Baz, the Spanish Baz. Right. There we go. So that here is a replica of the Manchester Guardian. Guardian wasn't offensively bad, so a solid -8 seems reasonable. I go with a -5. I knock -5 points off from a 0 because of the journalist arse licking in it. So yeah, this front page of the Manchester Guardian from the May 5th, 1821 is the entire front page is classified ads. You got a hat makers, screw engine manufacturer, a bookseller, glass warehouse, an ad for someone's found a lost and found ad for a black Newfoundland dog. Any person having lost the same may have her again on describing her marks and paying all expenses by applying to number 80 Should Chill or at the York Inn. NB, if not owned in 14 days from the date hereof, she will be sold to defray expenses. That was the first thing published in the Manchester Guardian. A plus fried from Slinker Meyer found the article on Jewish refugees really interesting. I'd recommend reading the whole article. Actually, it's really very fascinating. And also, I would say, if you're interested in how the rest of the British media treated the issues of Jewish refugees, particularly the Daily Mail, go to brokenbottleboy.substack.com and read today's article, which is a little bit on the history of the Daily Mail. Mark's posting an ad in the Manchester Guardian begging for cash to fund his book by any chance. I believe he did that, but I don't think it was in this issue. There's a public house for sale. The Dog Tavern on Deansgate was on sale. There was a lottery being advertised, various other things. Inside the paper, look how stories were done. Like, so dense. Just 2 huge pages of print. Just maximising the space. Parliamentary intelligence. Lord Palmerston moved that the House do resolve itself into a committee of supply on the army estimates. Mr. Creevely said that they were now sitting 6 weeks upon the army estimates without a single reduction in any one item proposed having been agreed to. Mr. M.A. Taylor moved the order of the day for the second reading of the steam engines bill. Mr. Hum asked what was the object of his honourable friend's motion, merely that the House should pledge itself on the bringing up of the report to the committee to take into consideration the large salaries with the motion, which the motion enumerated, and the Marquis of Londonderry felt it unnecessary to press on to the House the impropriety and intuity of the motion. There was a report on the cotton trade. There were various wanted ads for people for jobs. There was a row in Chorlton over the police. Alexander Payne and John Hill were brought up on the following charges, John Phelan said. That about 3 months ago, on coming home, he found the prisoner Hill in his house talking to his wife, telling her that he'd been to Stockport where he'd seen some of her relations. An acquaintance convinced between him and Hill, and a witness very often met at the White Hart in Newtown, where they had frequent conversations about forged notes. Hill said that he could introduce the witness to one Payne, the other prisoner, who would serve him with some good ones. All right, so there we go. They covered the prices of money. There was a birth column. There was a markets column. And on the back page, there was ads for schools and a letter to the editor of the Manchester Guardian about the charitable education in the school. There was a poem by Thomas More and a report on a paper presented to the Royal Society by Dr. Wollaston about various sounds that were too high-pitched for some people to hear. And in a report that Press Edge is the kind of stuff you get in the Express now, there was a report on a thunderstorm. On Wednesday night, about 1 o'clock, after a forenoon unusually sultry for the season, several very heavy showers of rain fell in Liverpool and the vicinity, accompanied by loud clips of thunder. They get a whole column out of that. So there you go. That is the original Guardian, yeah. No ads for coins in there, but a lot of ads for other things. That entire front page is adverts. Right. Now we move on to papers from today and to the Sun. The Dog Tavern, better keep that quiet from a certain lord, says SK. Who could you possibly be talking about? Boom. The Sun. Tiny Sun. Let's turn the Tiny Sun slightly bigger. Transform. Rotate. Oh, God. Rotate. Rotate. There we go. No coins. 0 stars. Okay, here's the Sun. Today, the Sun, of course, it starts our coverage today of the absolutely batshit mental British media coverage of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, doing a book. Another work of fiction, Meghan. Duchess pens kids' book. Top of the page, of course, they're still advertising the Lego land deal. They cover the Man City going through to the Champions League final with a dream come blue, and the main story is about pubs. Boozers plea to Boris, let us in. Poor. Inside on page 3, that isn't page 3, but is page 3. Maura from Love Island is featured wearing some underwear, and the headline is "Fuck me, my girls on." The headline is "Maura fish in the sea." Maura Higgins plays with her hair and gets used to it as a single curl after splitting with her boyfriend Chris Taylor. The Love Island pair, both 30, announced their mutual breakup on social media yesterday. Okay. Meanwhile, Gordon Ramsay's model daughter, Holly, is lined up to join the cast of this year's Love Island. Right, whatever. Comrade Wolfie, if I was desiring to go to the pub at the weekend, I would simply be in Bucharest, where it's 27 degrees this weekend. I am jealous. On pages 4 and 5, brilliant stats put us on track for great summer. No fear of lockdown, says Prof Lockdown, and he should know. Fucking hell. Duchess writes book for kids called The Bench. The Duchess of Sussex has written a schmaltzy kids book. I mean, they've seen a few bits from it about sons' relationships with their fathers. If Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge had written this, they would say it was brilliant. Sounds a bit wooden, Meg, is the headline. Fuck you. On page 9, Joy and Pain of Girl Group Pair. Jessie says, my vid diet anguish. Jessie Nelson has revealed she decided to quit Little Mix after hitting breaking point while struggling to lose weight for a music video. The singer 29 had a panic attack on set after going on an extreme diet to slim for the shoot for number one hit Sweet Melody. Jessie, who left the group in December, said it came after the happiest spell of her life when she was at home in lockdown around the people she loves. Meanwhile, Leanne Pillock feels the touch of footballer fiancé Andre Gray as she reveals she is pregnant. The Little Mix singer was draped in green satin as she showed off her bump in snaps put on social media to announce the news. Where is the garlic? We have got the garlic. The garlic is safe today. On page 11, The Sun finally gets round to covering the trial of the police officer accused of murdering of the manslaughter of Dalian Atkinson. And they write, footy ace Dalian Atkinson died after angry PC tasered him for a 33 seconds, 6 times longer than normal, and twice kicked him in the head. They give it the headline, tasered for 33 seconds. Matthew Goodwin, the book-eating academic idiot, professor of politics at University of Kent, they write here. Funny that they don't mention all this think tankery. Says, get set for the fall of the Red Wall 2. Matthew Goodwin can go fuck himself. Elsewhere, Jane Moore writes, don't bodies piling high from non-COVID causes count, PM? Fuck off, Jane Moore. Their coverage of the Gates divorce, 93 billion divorce bill. Madonna went to watch her son playing football. He was in Lisbon to play it so he could play for Benfica Youth. The headline for that, Madge of the Day. Quite a decent headline. Emma styles it out. Harry Styles pulls his arm around co-star Emma Corrin on the set of their new film. They're seen kissing because that's part of the film. He plays a secretly gay cop with the Crown's Emma as his teacher wife Marion in the adaptation of Bethan Roberts' 2012 novel My Policeman. A Line of Duty star has blasted cops for not properly investigating after 3 men tried to abduct her son of 11. Cherise Blackman said the boy was walking home from school after his bus was diverted when a black van pulled up next to him. A man inside asked him where he was going and then offered him a lift. The lad realised he was in danger and turned to rush home, but 2 hooded men then appeared and bullied him. Cherise, whose character Sergeant Ruby Jones was killed in cop drama's last series, which blah blah blah, she said he saw the basketball court and 2 teenage boys and ran in there behind them. The 2 men then followed him into the court and said to the teenage boy, oh, he's with us. At which point her son said, I don't know them. The teens blocked the men and told the boy to run home. Cherise added, once he got home, he was really shaken up. Police were called and interviewed the lad, but the probe was later closed, leaving the mum very dissatisfied. Yeah, as she should be. Red Wall 2, Starmer Boogaloo, says Chronotherm. Did Jane Moore just do all deaths matter? Yes, she did. The cops kicked cops kicked him so hard they left bootlace imprints on his head. Absolutely disgusting. Yes, Professor Lockdown, Professor of Lockdowns at the Royal College of Lockdowns, says Comrade Wolfie. Guybrush Tweetgood, legit question, was the Red Wall a concept before the last election? No, it was not an understood political concept. It was created by think tanks and was pushed really hard and has now become the thing that people go on about. But it was certainly not a concept before that. It's a concept that the press likes, so they've stuck with it. On page 23, Heroes Save Gas Blast Gran 99. Cobbs and slobbers. A swan puts a nuisance dog in its place during a vicious showdown in a lake. The bird reared up to see off the pest which chased cygnets in Swindon. The dog retreated, but witness Shoni Dutter said, my heart was in my mouth. Don't fuck with swans. A hypnotist has sued a rival, claiming that he stole his mind trick. Clemmy Fieldstead writes about Billie Eilish's Vogue shoot. Stylish Eilish or Silly Billy. Fuck off, leave her alone. Harry Redknapp is going to be appearing in EastEnders. His cameo will coincide with the Euro 2020, delayed Euro 2020 competition. Red Wall consent manufacturing machine go brrr. Yep. Jimmy Bullard is fronting a Papa John's sponsored football campaign. He says, the Bulldog is 42 and still in great shape, but I may need a bit of Botox. Right, whatever. Today's TV picks at Panorama, Am I British? Johnny Vegas, Carry On Glamping, Bloods, 10 p.m, Sky 1, and Unsolved, an alibi for Omar. Georgie Porter, former glamour girl, says, I miss my sexy lad mag days, but now I'm in love and want babies. Okay. Guybrush tweet good on the Red Wall thing. Will anyone in our brave free press ever question as to how it was so widely adopted and accepted so quickly? No, they won't. Well, I may do a newsletter on it for Friday, because I think that would be interesting. Yuan, I think Labour right has always been chasing a red wall conceptually, though. Controls on immigration, etc. Yes, agreed. But the concept, yeah, agreed. Sexpert, that's it. Sorry, the sun is gone. The sun has changed position, so I'm just going to have to put the blind down. Sexpert, which is such a tabloid word. Sexpert Alex Fox writes, why the rampant rabbit is still buzzing after 30 years. Yeah, because it's, they're so desperate to sexualize Billie Eilish. Absolutely great. Disgusting. In the letters page, the £50 letter comes from Hayden Baslington. Hayden Baslington. Actual Baz letter. Comes from them, and he writes, the SNP's drive for Scotland to be independent fills me with nothing but sorrow. For over 300 years, Scotland and England have been one, supporting one another through times of peace and war. Both have contributed to the great identity we have today. At times like these, surely we should be coming closer together in strengthening links we have with our closest allies. We need more unity, not less. Right. And that's someone from Guildford writing. Baslington, yeah. They're trying to sell you begonias. They're trying to sell you the G-Tech vacuum cleaner. Once again, the coins ad is in there. They're really desperate to sell you this gold sovereign. Coins. And on the back page in the sport, finally, Mahrez fires Pep to brink of glory. So that is today's Sun. Coins. I just had to go and get this to eat because my blood sugar went. Alright, so give me your scores for the Sun. Bad paper. While I do the roll call, then we'll be on to the Times and finally crash into the Daily Mail. Really excellent turnout today. Thank you for this. In the mod squad, Guybrush Tweetgood and SK the Crusader. Of course, as ever, get involved with SK's streams, particularly looking forward to the election aftermath stream this weekend. In the chat, generally, another TT viewer, Carbot14XYZ, Commander Root, Comrade Wolfie, Dan Jones, 3142, Discord for streamers, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Ged Station, Grilling Pirate Pete, Industrial Pair, Jujo1, Chronotherm, Mr. Gump, Red Tick Seed, Salinka Maya, Studying Fangirl, Cider Streams, Tom Toms, Reet and Co, Virgo Pros, and Yuan. Three fishes for the Sun from Yuan. Minus 123 from Jujo, minus 1707 from Chronotherm, minus all the 69s from Mr. Gump, a minus 420 from Red Tick Seed, a minus wet pints out of 10 from Comrade Wolfie, a minus coins from Ged Station, so many 69s out of 10 that my laptop crashed from Dan Jones, and umbrellas out of 10 from Industrial Pet. On to the Times. Top of the shop at the Times. What Bill and Melinda told me about marriage. Alice Thompson managed to spin out a whole article out of the fact that she met Bill Gates wants. Anna Murphy writes where the fashion editors hire clothes. All right. Top of the shop in the main stories, calls to protect troubles veterans as farcical trial collapses. Protect. They've been excuse, let off, protect. Main story, over 50s to be offered third jab before winter. Second biggest story, cabinet chief kept in dark over work on Johnson's flat. Once again, we've shown that Simon Case doesn't know his arse from his elbow and really doesn't know what's going on in number 10. And of course, the main picture is one of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery and her mount preparing for the first General Officer Commanding Inspection in 2 years at Woolwich Barracks. Beautiful horse, shame it's in the army. On page 3, on the Gates divorce, Gates split is cordial with star lawyers just in case. Ministers filmed to stop leaking of Queen's speech. Cabinet ministers who want to read the Queen's speech have been told to do so remotely while being filmed to prevent leaks. Ministers have not been entrusted with copies of the speech, the government's legislative programme, which will be announced on May 11th. There's mounting distrust in Whitehall after the government plans for a second lockdown were leaked to the Times last year, which resulted in the Chatty Rat episode. Thank you. Ooh, I'm just a little state-sponsored terrorist, don't prosecute me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Isn't it a fucked up thing that the government can't trust itself enough to share its plans, so it's starting to do surveillance on itself? That's really a sign of a healthy government, isn't it? On page 5, inquiry call over Ulster trial collapse. A lawyer... Fucking hell, this is a disgusting justification for things as well. Page 5... Jonathan Ames, the legal editor, writes under the headline, stressed lawyer gave racist speech, racist like that. A lawyer who likened Africans to cannibals during a conference speech was wrongly disciplined by his firm, a tribunal has ruled. What the fuck? Mike Taplin, a former managing partner of Freeths, one of the country's 50 biggest law firms, is set to receive compensation after a tribunal found he was a victim of disability discrimination. Shortly before he gave the speech, Taplin had returned to work after time off for stress and depression. In his conference remarks, he is said to have likened Africans to cannibals, joked about the size of his penis, and made flippant remarks about the term LGBTQ. The tribunal was told that managers at Freeths began disciplinary action after the speech, and Taplin, who was described as a highly successful solicitor, was suspended. However, the tribunal said that the law firm failed to take into account that he was in a fragile state of mind when he gave the talk. He was in such a fragile state of mind that he became racist and homophobic. A hearing in Nottingham was told that Taplin regularly worked 13-hour days, and by the end of 2015, his mental health began to deteriorate. The firm's chairman, Colin Flanagan, tried to persuade him to take leave, but he could not stay away and was prescribed antidepressants. 2017, Flanagan told Taplin to be more jovial around the office, which the tribunal said was grossly insensitive. Later that year, Taplin took a 7-month sabbatical, and when he returned to work, managers allowed him to give a presentation at a conference, despite, as the tribunal found, there being an expectation of disaster. Well, it does sound they stitched him up, but also he was massively racist and homophobic in public. Social media is no worse than TV for the mental health of teenagers, says a study. Expect columnists to avoid writing about that one. The Labour left says Starmer should quit if more of the red wall falls. He should just quit anyway, but he won't. Meghan's children's book is featured on page 9. But the Times manages to put a really weird sidebar in saying the Duchess who beat her to it. For the moment, the leading writer of children's fiction in the extended royal world is the Duchess of York. Prince Andrew's ex-wife has written about 40 books. Written. Police accused of tasing and kicking former player to death is the way that they cover the story of the murder of Dalian Atkinson. Following on from The Sun yesterday, The Times has the story Barrymore suspect may be charged. Police ignored son's kidnap claims, says Line of Duty Star. That's their coverage of that one. BBC Stars cash in from moonlighting is the way that they cover the first external events register published by the BBC. I will say about this, there are some really dodgy ones in there. I don't think that BBC staff should be doing moonlighting gigs, paid talks to places like Google, Cisco, financial services companies, investments companies. How can people reporting the news do so without bias if they're taking money from major players in sectors they report on? They can't. Starmer is making a big mistake on sleaze, says Daniel Finkelstein, who is, remember, a conservative peer. Roger Boys, the most unfortunately named of the Times columnists, writes, China's pension crisis threatens Xi's regime. Laura Freeman says, grand designs won't make you happy. We all think we like a bigger home, but lusting after wings, turrets and infinity pools is best left to the foolish rich. I would just like a house. You know, I would just love to live in a world where I could afford to have a house. BBC staff are in moonlighting, says Chronotherm. That's one for the oldies. In the birthdays today, James Cracknell is 49. Adele, happy birthday to Adele, she's 33. Marion Bailey, is the actress, is 70. Henry Conan Biddy, president of Côte d'Ivoire, is 87. He's president of Côte d'Ivoire until 1999. Zy Bennett, managing director of Sky UK and Ireland's content division, at 47. Teddy Beverly, the singer from the Beverly Sisters, is 94. Richard Calvo-Caresi, director and chief curator of the Gagosian Gallery in London, and the director until 2015 of the Henry Moore Foundation, is 70. Santiago Cabrera, the actor, is 43. Henry Cavill is 38. Celeste, the singer, is 27. Sir John Coles, chief executive of United Learning Group of Schools, is 49. Baroness Jen Corsten, chairwoman of the Parliamentary Labour Party until Jean Corsten, Parliamentary Labour Party until 2005, is 79. Craig David, all over your boink, is 40. Howard Davies is 55. He's the National Association for Areas of Outstanding Natural Beauty's chief executive. Menna Fitzpatrick, the alpine skier and gold medalist in the 2018 Paralympics, is 23. Richard E. Grant, the actor, 64. Dame Fiona Kendrick, 66. Vincent Kartheiser, the actor, 42. Sir Michael Lindsay Hogg, the film director, 81. Ian McCulloch, singer in Echo and the Bunnyman. Special happy birthday to Mac, 62. Lord John Maxton, Labour MP until 2001, is 85. Peter Molyneux, the computer games designer, happy birthday to him as well, is 62. Sir Michael Palin, the writer and actor, 78. Nathaniel Parker, the actor, 59. Daffyd Rogers, the theatre producer, 52. Jonathan Rhys-Davies, the actor, known for Gimli in Lord of the Rings, is 77. Simon Rimmer, chef and TV presenter, 58. Sophie Wells, para-equestrian, Paralympic gold medalist, 31. James Whittaker, the cricketer, England's cricket national selector, till 2018, 59. Dieter Zetzt, chairman of the TUI Group and Daimler AG and head of Mercedes-Benz until 2019, is 68. On this day, in 1980, a 6-day siege by 6 gunmen of the Iranian embassy in Kensington, London, ended after a raid by the SAS. And the last word today goes to Diane Arbus, photographer, in a biography by Patricia Bosworth. A photograph is a secret about a secret. The more it tells you, the less you know. See you, Comrade Wolf. You have a good one. In France, an anti-Islam pundit leads surge for French Fox News. A strident television channel with a star pundit who rails against Islam has overtaken France's leading news network in a reflection of the country's shift towards populist right-wing opinion. Can't wait for that to happen here, which seems inevitable. New York's finest restaurant has gone vegan. 11 Madison Park has had a reputation as one of the world's finest restaurants where dinner was turned into an epic feast filled with caviar, foie gras, roasted duck, and a renowned poached lobster dish. Now, as it prepares to reopen, the chef and owner, Daniel Hum, has made a stunning announcement. When 11 Madison Park reopens next month, it will still charge $335 a head with tip for its tasting menu. But the food will be made from plants. There will be no duck liver, no pork collar, and no cheek. No sturgeon cheesecake. The only animal products will be the milk and honey offered to accompany tea and coffee. Yeah, fine. So what? This could still be friggin' delicious. The leader of a religious cult who claimed she was divine and had spent the last 19 billion years trying to save humanity has been found dead. 7 followers of Amy Carson's Love Has Won group have been arrested after her mummified remains were found wrapped in Christmas lights under a makeshift shrine in a caravan in rural Colorado that served as the cult's headquarters. The 45-year-old's body had decomposed and glitter makeup had been painted on her face. Carson was known as Mother God to the followers of the cult, which started 3 years ago. Love Has Won was established after her third marriage ended and she left a job at McDonald's. Understood to have had about 20 followers. They believe Carson would lead 144,000 of them to redemption and a fifth dimension. Carson also claimed she was the daughter of Donald Trump in a previous life. 7 people arrested face charges for various offences, including abuse of a corpse and child abuse. Investigators believe Carson died at some point in March. They said she may have ingested colloidal silver, seen by some as a cure for coronavirus. Miguel Lamboy owns the caravan, but claims not to have been a follower of the cult, according to the Daily Beast. He discovered the body when returning after a stay in Denver. And another story, taxman loses millions to Michael Jackson's children. The children of Michael Jackson will be spared hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes after a judge ruled that his image and his assets were worth far less than the value placed on them by the Internal Revenue Service. Yeah, not surprised. Yes, the Love Has Won cult is a wild story. It's actually something I'm researching for a piece, which hopefully will be out relatively soon. Breeding lions for life in cages is going to be banned in South Africa, which is good. I believe that the doorbell just went, so I will be 1 second. It turns out it did not. Yes, colloidal silver is nasty stuff. Right, moving on. They're trying to sell you the Genos again, this time in Azure, Nantucket, Sand, Ocean, and Toffee. Geno. Moving on, in the obits, Gene Friedman, French resistance fighter and businessman who uncovered a L'Oreal scandal that led to President Mitterrand. He died, he was 95. Also, Kate Haste, filmmaker, writer, and ex-wife of Melvyn Bragg, who explored the lives of Prime Minister's spouses inside Downing Street. And Lord Judd, Labour minister and close friend of Harold Wilson, who took a dim view of Tony Blair and later became a director of Oxfam. See you, Mr. Grump. Have a good one. Good to see you. Right, and finally, in the sport, all hail Mahrez. Winger fires City to first Champions League final on icy night in Manchester. And golfers eye up Saudi billions for Rebel Tour. There you go. That was the Times. Give me your scores for that. And we will get now to the Daily Mail, our final poisonous paper of the day. Can you spot the irony of this front page? Why, it's the Daily Mail engaged in a witch hunt of the Duchess of Sussex at the top of the page, and at the bottom of the page, now end witch hunts for good, as it covers the collapse of the Northern Ireland Paris trial. Inside the paper on pages 2 and 3, the land of Meg-Believe. A ginger-haired soldier and his baby son. Who on earth could they be? And they put on the same page a story about Prince Philip. Philip's death. Official, Prince Philip died of old age. I guess they're disappointed that they can't say that Meghan and Harry caused him to die of shock or something. Scores for the Times: 1 Slipper Throne from Jujo, minus 69 from Zagamaya, and It's Fishy from Yuan, and a minus 34,000 from Chronotherm. In the clarifications and corrections section, the Daily Mail writes, a comment item on March 22nd about Boris Force 1, the plane available to the PM and other dignitaries, said it had been used just once since it was repainted in 2020 at Boris Johnson's request. We're happy to clarify that while the plane had only been used only once for official engagements, it was used regularly by the RAF for military duties, was it? Also, note that the Daily Mail never... I know, Prince Philip's dead. Nobody told you. Also note that the Daily Mail, whenever it has to put a correction in about a comment piece, doesn't put who wrote said comment piece. Interesting, that, isn't it? On pages 4 and 5, appalling national scandal. This IRA monster murdered 15 British soldiers. How loathsome that 2 of our boys were hounded in his name. Right, the thing about this is, right, the claim that he murdered those people comes from official sources, right? That's not... that it was denied by the official IRA. Of course, you can't put much store in denials or claims from either side, but certainly... a lot of the stuff they write here, that he was a commander and a ringleader and all this kind of stuff, is based on the statements of security service, security services. Page 7, Harry up and give us a kiss is the coverage of the picture of Harry Styles kissing Emma Corrin in that film. British holiday makers will be given packs of tests to use abroad, but you'll still have to pay £50 for the gold standard one back in the UK. We're humbled and honoured. Praise from St Paul's as £115,000 is raised for the memorial. And then they talk about Sir Lloyd Dorfman, founder of Travelex Currency Exchange, is seldom short of ideas. There's always a philanthropist behind this stuff, isn't there? Labour bloodbath is how they cover the Hartlepool thing. Squirming Starmer pleads for more time as leader ahead of election day disaster. And its MP loses brownie points. Claims that Coronation Street actress turned Labour MP bribed voters with brownies was investigated by the police. Tracy Brabin has been pictured on the campaign trail with specially branded boxes of the chocolate goodies. Miss Brabin, blah, blah, blah. But Tom Gordon, a Liberal Democrat member of Wakefield Council, complained that Miss Brabin had been out and about with boxes of brownies that say vote Labour on them. He asked West Yorkshire Police to consider whether she'd broken electoral law. However, a Labour source said the brownies were only available to party activists as a thank you for their hard work campaigning. Lib Dems are narcs. Sarah Vine writes, lockdown drinking, it's just the tip of the iceberg. She writes about J-Lo's arse for some reason. Attacks Keir Starmer, obviously, with the boxing gloves thing. And says that we must stand up for brave veterans. Who they? Of course, the Daily Mail has coverage of the BBC presenters taking outside gigs under the headline, Revealed, BBC stars speaking gigs bonanza. British law graduate shot dead in Pakistan after 2 men tried to force her to marry. Horrendous. More pictures of Lily Collins. Grand unveiling on D-Day memorial. On D-Day for Your Memorial. Gold Beach tribute after 30 million campaign. Guess what? The Daily Mail was involved in that campaign. Why did Bill's marriage malfunction? The Gates were seen as a perfect power couple, but from their rocky start and the racy claims of a love rival to his utter devotion to Microsoft, the pair who spent billions fighting disease couldn't find the formula for happiness. As the person in the room said, they were married for 27 years, so they seem to have the formula for happiness for a period. £0, that's how much corporation tax Amazon paid on £38 billion of sales. Yeah, guess what? Tax system's fucked. Let's also look into how much money in tax the owner of the Daily Mail, Lord Rothermere, pays. Got a spread on grand design disasters. Their headline, they actually cover the trial of the police involved in the death of Dalian Atkinson in a fairly straight manner. In the Money Mail, subscription addiction from houseplants to gourmet cheese, demand for monthly treats delivered to our door boomed in lockdown. But here the Money Mail counts the cost and asks, is it time to kick the addiction? Limp Dems, lame Dems, all good. The Posh London Address, 4,000 firms claim is their HQ. In fact, none is based at the office, but they pay just £24 a month for a forwarding service. And it's a scammer's paradise. Daily Mail, I wouldn't encourage people to look too carefully in where your owners register things. Right. Where's the on this day? I haven't seen the on this day. Hold on. Is it usually before Money Mail? I feel like it is. Here's the on this day. On this day, May 5th, 2021, today in 1953, the Daily Mail wrote, the Duke of Edinburgh yesterday qualified for his RAF wings. He made 3 flights in a single-engined Harvard trainer at White Waltham, Berkshire, and returned to Buckingham Palace with the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Sir William Dixon, pinned the brevet on the Duke's uniform. May 5th, 1988. Women are taking over more of the top jobs in the civil service under Margaret Thatcher, it was confirmed last night. Formidable females have grabbed control of 200 of the high-powered assistant secretary posts, double the number 5 years ago. Happy birthday from the Daily Mail to Adele and to Sir Michael Palin. And they also note that born on this day were Tyrone Power, 1914 to 1958, the Hollywood heartthrob, starred in The Mark of Zorro and The Black Swan by 1939. He was the second biggest male box office attraction after Mickey Rooney. He's one of the celebrities featured on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. He died of a heart attack at 44 while filming Solomon and Sheba in Spain. His son, Tyrone Jr., was born 2 months later. Sylvia Pankhurst, born on this day in 1882, died in 1960. Manchester-born suffragette campaigner, co-founded the Women's Social and Political Union with her mother, Emmeline, and her sister, Christabel. She was also a keen painter, and 4 of her portraits of working women were bought for the UK's National Arts Collection in 2018. On this day in 1921, Chanel No. 5 was launched at Coco Chanel's Paris boutique, and in this day in 1981, IRA member and MP for Fermanagh and South Tyrone, Bobby Sands died aged 27 in Northern Ireland's Maze Prison, 66 days after starting his hunger strike. Quote of the day, hatred is a feeling which leads to the extinction of values. That was Jose Ortega y Gasset, the Spanish philosopher. And joke of the day, what has ears but cannot hear? A cornfield. Shout out to Sylvia Pankhurst. And in the letters today, M. Southern of Christchurch, Dorset says, how bizarre that those chosen to party without masks or social distancing were 18 to 30, the age group that hasn't had a vaccine. Yeah, but they're trying, there's a reason for that. Because they're trying to see what the effect might be. It's also Karl Marx's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to Karl Marx. S. Hurley of Exeter says, someone tell Billie Eilish that her stockings are on backwards. Oh, fuck off. Graham Smith of Ellesmere Port, Cheshire says, the real surprise is that the so-called interior design of the Downing Street flat resembles the inside of a charity shop. John Rusby of Bishop Auckland says, with more than 60 years in the decorating profession, I am qualified to advise Keir Starmer what to do with his roll of wallpaper. Fuck off. Alan Graham says, how ironic that as an Anglican priest, the former post office boss, Paula Venables, officiated services at the Church of St. Leonard's, the patron saint of prisoners. Diana Harvey Williams writes, the public sector would rather faff about with woke trivia than get on with their jobs. And Tony McBride of Leamington Spa says, the minuscule decisions made by VAR are ridiculous. Football is not a game of inches, but of feet. So there you go. Today's recipe is tomato and tamarind fish curry, which looks rotten, if I'm honest. They're advertising many cruises. They're advertising hearing aids. They're advertising electric heaters. They're advertising the Male Wine Club. And in the sport, hail the heroes. Pepso proud, a City storm into final after PSG lose heads. So that was the Daily Mail. Give me your scores for the Mail today as I do, all the winding up stuff. I'm, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. You can also get me on TikTok at at Useless Conquest. If you like the show and you are want to talk about the news, share on the news stories, generally, get involved a bit more with the show, we have a server where you can join. I know some of you have recently joined the Discord server. If you have, great. Do say some stuff on it. There are various boards where you can kick stuff. That's the Discord there. Slinker this entire letters page just deserves a giant sigh. Feedbacker somehow managed to do every single Tory voice in existence. Bravo. Yeah, that's what I was going. That's what I was trying for. Johan, come for the fishy newspapers, stay for mixed Tory voices. Yes. Also, if you do like the show and you want to help me keep running it, check out the newspaper fund, Conquest of the Useless. Drop some coins in the newspaper fund, paypal.me/Conquest of the Useless. Any and all contributions are useful, and it helps also to pay for magazine specials. If you want tomorrow's magazine special is a very, very special one, because tomorrow we will be doing an antique magazine special looking at off the record secrets, a 1950s celebrity gossip magazine. Chronotherm says the Daily Mail brings me closer to death. Yuan gives it 4 fishes, and Slinkermeyer gives it all the negative nices. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. As I say, check out the Discord. Chuck some coins in the PayPal if you can. Coins, and of course, if you are new to this stream and like it, consider signing up for the newsletter, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. It's free to sign up. But if you like it, you can upgrade to a paid subscription, which gets you some extra issues sometime. Yes, a very, very special magazine special tomorrow that you are accurate, Ged Station. And now just the final roll call. I am, of course, Broken Bottle Boy in the mod squad. Guybrush, Tweetgood, and SK the Crusader. If you don't follow him, if you're not involved in watching his streams, you should be. Get on it. In the chat, another TT viewer, Aiton, Bloodluster, Carbot 14XYZ, Commander Root, Community Showcase, Dan Jones, 3142, Dick Pendrin, good to see you, Discord for streamers, Feedbacker, thanks for joining us, hope to see you again, Ged Station, good to see you, Industrial Pet, thanks for joining us today, always a good contributor in the chat, as is Chronotherm, excellent, Amiga Jeppe, nice to see you, Red Tick Seed, quality contributions as ever, Slinkermeyer, similarly an absolute stalwart of the chat. Hello to you, Shadowy Sticks. Hello to Suddy and Fangirl, another excellent streamer. I didn't see the Star Wars stream last night, but I hope to catch up on it. Cider Streams, thank you for being here. Tom's, good to see you. Taylor Rides, always good in the chat. And excellent on Twitter. Also, VNK, thank you for being here. Appreciate your support as ever. Virgo Pros, good to see you. Wet Creep, most sinister name in the chat today. And Yuan, the Fishmeister General, always a high quality contributor to the chat, and for that I salute you. I will be back tomorrow.